why I started my own agency. I get this question a lot, and I think I've given a lot of thought to it. So 4 years ago, I kind of made a decision that really changed everything for me from the standpoint of making sure that I'm always acting in a manner that is making me uncomfortable, which helps facilitate growth. So when I got into the insurance business, the I was fortunate in the fact that the opportunity it did kind of click for me right away. I'm naturally an introvert, and so I always thought, man, I don't know, an introvert may not be a good salesperson, but I think what introverts have is the ability to focus on what they need to do to accomplish a task. And so that may mean being going up and talking to people where you may not have normally done that. That might not be a natural thing to do, right? But so you can focus and you can know what you have to do and you can put your mind to it and you can put in the effort, put in the work. Like the first few years I worked 80 to 90 hours a week. Um, and I definitely kind of hit a ceiling after a while too. After a few years, I kind of felt like, okay, I know what I'm doing. I can help people, I can provide value, and in turn I can sell, I can make commissions. And then I think I got pretty good at it, but then it became a bit mundane and redundant for me. So I got into this like 8 year sort of rut, or I got comfortable, right? So every day was the same. I'd wake up, I sell, I'd visit clients, I train agents, but I wasn't really pushing myself. I wasn't growing professionally. I wasn't really living up to what I feel like was my potential, right? So a lot of people may have seen, oh, you may be successful, or that I may be successful in their eyes, what they perceive to be successful. But I didn't feel that way. Like I felt like a loser, like I was failing for some reason. But then, I did make this shift, say, from being like a independent contractor to really running a business and running my own agency, definitely put me in a position to grow and to be uncomfortable, right? And so there's always this thing that I had in my mind that you know people that run companies, oh, they must be special, right? There must be something that's special about them. Well, there's really not. I mean, I'm sure some, there's some outliers there, but most people, there's nothing special about them. What makes them different from everybody else is they persevere, right? So they grow, they evolve. So that's what I was trying to do. I was trying to stretch myself professionally, intellectually, emotionally, financially. Uh, I constantly question myself, do I have what it takes to, run a real business? When I say a real business, like many people that work for themselves and maybe self-employed, they'll call themselves, the CEO or whatever. But really, that's not the case. When you're self-employed, you're still an employee. You're an employee for yourself, so to speak, but you're really an employee to all those clients that you serve, right? Because there's only so many hours in the day you can hit capacity. And I think I learned a while ago that, being running a business means you could take yourself out of the business and the business still runs, right? And so when you're self-employed, that's not really the case because you can't take yourself out of the business. So I just realized I didn't want to be 70 years old, 80 years old, and look back and think, oh, I wonder if I could have done that. You know, I had the energy for it, but I didn't want to have any questions, right? So, I found some good people. We're able to grow our agency rapidly. Um, I had a little bit of luck, but, luck comes when you work hard, right? So, somebody once said to me, seems like everything you touch seems to work out. Well, they only see the stuff that seems to work, but there's a lot of things that don't go right, right? And you just don't stop. You don't quit. And that's the difference, right? So, um, the thing that I think I really has kind of captured my attention and really changed my thought process was, like I said, the people aren't special, but what they do is they make themselves uncomfortable and they take risks. They have hard conversations, right? So like the conversation that you're avoiding is always the conversation that you have to have. And you have to tackle every day that way. You know, you have to keep growing, you have to show up every single day. So, you know, I've been fortunate, like I keep saying, but again, I think that is a product of hard work and taking the initiative. And this in turn, I think has been reflected in our agency and our agency's growth here at Mainline Benefits over the last 3 years. You know, I've really changed my mindset, my belief system, and with some help from others, of course. I didn't come to that conclusion on my own, but so much is possible, so much more than what we ever thought or that what somebody ever thinks is really possible. Um, and there's really no limit to what you can achieve. And that's crazy, you know, like you set these huge goals, but if you have a plan and you tackle every day like it's the last chance, because it is the last chance that you will ever have for today. You will never wake up and be able to repeat this day again. You know, you close your eyes, you blink, it's over. You'll never have another shot. So you focus on the things that you know you have to get done, and everything else is noise. And you just leave that to the side. So for me, the stagnation feels like failure, right? And not growing really is failure. Because if you're not growing, you're going backwards. So what I'm trying to do is just stay uncomfortable. I'm not going to stop. There's really no plan B, which I wouldn't have it any other way. Um, we're going to grow. We're going to have a positive impact on agents. We're going to have a positive impact on our clients. We believe in each other and we're going to prove it and we're going to show everybody.